The Gridiron is sponsored by Rothman Orthopedic.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. Springford continued its dominance in the pack play with a 55-0 smashing of Upper Perk, Coach. Good job for you and the crew on Friday night, RCTV Cup there.
Thanks.
55.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about last week's show. There was things that concerned you about Upper Perk offensively, defensively. Is it still that thing we're getting a little bit better and they didn't play up to?
No, we had a better week. I think that one thing that happened, our defensive staff just did a tremendous job in getting tendencies, and our players had a very good read on formationally what their tendencies were. And so our defense was very prepared. Offensively, we did a nice job in terms of overall execution. We didn't turn the ball over. We mixed it up a little bit, threw a little bit more, not necessarily down the field all the time, but spread the field out left to right, and we ran the ball well. We guys had some touches in the passing game, some touches in the running game, and we still need, in terms of overall, we need to do a better job, especially on kickoff coverage, and that's the coach that's responsible for kickoff coverage has to do a better job of that. Mm-hmm. And also offensive line-wise, we just have to still communicate. We're trying to emphasize to our guys that they need to communicate, use the terminology that we provide so that everybody's on the same page. We still have some things to do, and we're probably going to shake that up a little bit for this week. So.
Okay. Now, one thing you talked about there in the beginning, which I think is a big key for this team, and it's been a key for you guys in the past, has been turnovers. It's a year where you're causing turnovers, turning in the scores, and on the opposite, you're not turning the ball over. You're not fumbling, not throwing interceptions. I mean, it's how cliche it is about football, but turnovers really seem to be a big key when we talk about Springford football success, past, present, future, moving forward.
Well, we had, for the second week in a row, we had a block punt for a touchdown. Cam Goldsmith is just playing really well on special teams. And we also, Naphtali Stein made an interception that you probably won't see very many better at the high school level. And then we did cause a couple fumbles, the biggest one being Ryan Horvath. Just, again, I have said his name over the past few weeks.
I hear the defensive guys talking about him a lot then too, right? His name's coming out in conversations is what it's.
His hustle, his path. You can hustle all you want, but if you take the wrong path, no good. If you like, he sees it and he reacts to it and he takes the right path and he hustles, and you'll see on film a couple of things that he did, and he helped other people who and made them better. So
okay.
We love our secondary. I think all four right now are playing at an all-league level. Obviously, Nick Teets was all-league at safety, first team last year. Nate Capers deserved it, didn't get anything. Naphtali Stein was a 2/3 half player last year at corner, but he leads the league in interceptions, is tied for the league lead in interceptions. And then Cole Turner's the other one. These guys are all playing at an all-league level, and so there were a couple times where there was a clean pocket for a second, and the quarterback looked and was like,
nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. So.
All right, Coach, so I'm interested here when we start watching highlights. Obviously, we got some highlights. Score 55, you're going to see some highlights. But I also want to, when we're watching them, what are we talking about the offensive line? I know you've said it, past him, we missed a hole here. We missed who to block here, too. Talk a little bit, because I'm sure outside Joe Schmidt is 55, nothing. How could they have problems on the, you know what I mean? How could they have issues? So just something I'm looking for.
On our highlights?
Well, I'm just
on our highlights or right now? I can talk to it right now.
Let's talk about it, and then maybe if you see something in the highlight, talk about it.
Yeah, well, so, Coach Strickler is an we've been very fortunate to have excellent offensive line coaches over the years, and Coach Strickler is right up there with any offensive line coach that I've ever worked around or with. He is so technical. He is very focused on the technical, and they do things every day. But when the bullets start flying, as they say, when you are in the midst of something, some of that stuff, if it's not bicycle-esque, meaning that you just can do it without thinking, all of a sudden, there's somebody in front of you that's not your teammate and is not holding a shield, and things are different. You have to communicate. So teams, we'll talk about Methacton later, but Methacton will give you multiple fronts. So that's got to be communicated. And all this happens in a matter of 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So you got to communicate the front. All right? You got to know what play you're running. Okay? So once you know the front, now you know who's pulling or who's doing this or who's doing that. And you have to identify, like, if you're the right guard, I'm the right tackle, we might be working together on this play, or you might be pulling away, so now the center has to block back. And all of that has to be communicated bing, 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 right in 5 seconds before the snap. And if we have some guys that are not they're saying, we have this, and not saying, I won't tell our terms.
Whatever, yeah.
But, well, I can. What does it matter? Like, we'll say, we call the play side inside linebacker the pilot, okay, just to make it easy. So if you and I are the guard and the right tackle, or probably the guard, I'm the guard, you're the center, and we're running inside zone, we have to work up as a group, you and me, shoulder to shoulder, the tackle over me, and we're working up to the pilot. So we might call the play side tackle the port. All right, so we might say port to pilot. You and me, port pilot. All right. Well, if we don't say that, if we don't say pilot, then the tackle could be confused and work up to pilot, and now we're not blocking somebody that we should be blocking.
Gotcha.
So,
allow me to retort.
I'm not saying it's easy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Allow me to retort. It seems like a lot. Like
it is
for like a high. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, whatever. I think. Allow me. It's a lie, is what I'm saying too, right? Like, and so, you as a coach realize this is a lie.
Right. We do. We have put a lot on the quarterbacks in the past. We've taken a little bit off their plate, but one of the things that the quarterbacks do on any play, we identify the person we are trapping, reading, whether it's an RPO or some other type of thing. We're identifying who the offensive line doesn't really have to worry about. Now, I can say that on TV because every play we're saying somebody, and
sure,
they don't know if that means they're getting trapped or we're just reading them or whatever. So that eliminates one guy from the box, and that, along with the play call, gives you a very good clue, if you're an offensive lineman, like how this should be blocked, even if they line up in something that they've never been in before.
Gotcha.
And all of our run plays are concept-based. So what that means is that we are not, it doesn't matter what you line up with if you go back to your concept. So in other words, let's say we're running a counter, okay? So the quarterback will identify who is being trapped. And the quarterback knows that no matter what the defense is, it's the guy it's the first guy outside the tackle or on the tackle, at least in a 5 technique. Or the second guy.
Okay,
so a 5 technique.
Listen, I'm the student here. You're the one teaching me.
A 5 technique is the outside shoulder of the tackle, the offensive tackle. So it's the second lineman in at least a 5 technique. If he's in a 0, which is straight up, or a 4, we're going to the next guy. So the quarterback identifies that. So that means we need to take care of the other guys. And we know the guard's pulling to kick him out. So then we just take care of the rest. So by eliminating one guy on every play, that kind of does simplify. There's only X amount of guys left. So I'm not saying it's easy, but it's just necessary because back when I played, teams would line up in the same defense
Every play.
every play. And offensively, we didn't have very many formations either. But as football progressed at the high school level, we're running probably right now 20 to 25 formations. We will see the same ones over and over again, but there's slight variations. And then, the defense is going to have X amount of looks to each formation. So you can't just say what we used to do is just like on, over, up.
Yeah.
All right? Doesn't work. You have to be more detailed than that.
Okay. Good stuff, Coach. We love learning
Yeah.
on the Gridiron here. How about take a look at the offensive highlights?
Sure, let's do it.
Gridiron highlights are sponsored by Heaps Landscaping.
All right, so I put these in order, but it looks like they're back out of order.
Here you are
This is a
throwing
nice
the ball.
little bootleg pass to Nick Cagliola.
What do we get? What's that, like a beam of some sort there that's in the camera shot there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right there you see, and we're trying to get, you see Andrew Yoon out there in the flat, which is a much easier throw. We're trying to get Ryan to understand that the easier is the better. But here's a nice little play on the goal line.
Oh, look at this little action.
You see both the defensive end and the outside linebacker come flying off the edge.
Wide
He's
open.
reading that, and he just pulls it and throws it to Harry Adiefe. Here's the first touchdown of the game. This was a counter tray, and you see the left guard and left tackle pull. All right. I'm sorry, this was the left guard and the slot there. Nice block by Josh Hellauer. And he gets another guy. Josh is playing. Josh does all the underrated stuff that no one knows. We didn't block this correctly. And we
The memory
missed
card
that.
looks full. There we go.
Memory
Here we
card
go.
was full, but we'll hopefully
All right, so
fix that this
where are we
week.
missing something is what I'm.
So our left up back kicks out the end, and it's supposed to be our right up back. And they got to trust each other. That's part of the other thing, too. We'll come out of this and talk about the trust issue. And we didn't block this well. You can see that. But Harry Adiefe runs through that
Dives
tackle.
in, yeah. This
And that
guy
wasn't
died,
an
the
issue.
guy who died through here shouldn't essentially die through, is what you're telling me.
No, we took a bad step. We took a bad step there. We took a right lead step as opposed to a left, and that makes all the difference. That's how technical it is. This is a touchdown by Cam Goldsmith. Nice block on the outside there by Colton Kashera, and he gets in the end zone for the touchdown. This is a play. We call this 47. So again, it's the guard kicking out. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't.
Same play right there.
That was
The
90.
quarterback has the option to keep there, it looks like.
No, he was going to pitch it.
A pitch
It was
if
a
any.
shovel.
All right.
And here's the last touchdown of the game. This is Ryan Wilson. Ryan's a sophomore that we want him to put his shoulder down there at the end. But Ryan is a kid that, he'd be a kid that maybe could, be a varsity running back real quick. But we have a guy at each level that we feel could be a varsity running back now with Andrew Yoon, Harry Adiefe, and also Ryan Wilson. And that doesn't include Nick Teets in it, So we have some guys we're real happy about our depth there at that position. But going back to what I said.
Hold on, did you turn in the Clark Kent in our, now you have glasses on?
Well, I had to see the TV.
Okay, all right, okay, go ahead.
So
Sorry.
when you get older, you're still a little younger than me. But
I see it all, see everything.
just wait.
Okay, I'll wait.
wait.
Yeah, all right. Mark it down. On this day, he said, just wait. I'll see. Perfect.
How
Keep
old are
going.
you?
41.
Okay, I give it 4 years.
Okay, 45. We'll reconvene and see how my eyes are
Yes.
doing then. All right, go ahead.
So the trust.
Yep.
The trust is and I spoke to the team about that. We got to trust, and I talked about this with kickoff, offensive line, that play in particular. We all have to trust. If you didn't do your job the last play because maybe you got blocked or maybe something happened, whatever, the next play I still got to trust that you're going to do your job.
Yeah.
I can't overcompensate for you because guess what? We're going to pull you and put in somebody that's going to do it the right way. So I've got to trust that if you're the contain and I'm the guy right inside the contain, I got to trust that you're going to contain. Even if you didn't contain the last time, for whatever reason, I got to trust that this time you're going to do it. And I got to trust that next time you're going to do it. Because if I overcompensate, then I've given up my area. And that's the same on the offensive line, too. I got to trust that you're going to do your job. I got to trust that you're going to step the right way. That first step, that play where the kid almost made the tackle in the backfield was one step. And it's not even a big step. It's a half step. So that's how technical football is, especially in the offensive line. Those guys up front are technicians. They are, and they have to be successful.
All right, Coach, great stuff right there. Lesson learned.
I know you noticed that I had my glasses still on.
Yeah,
I forgot to take them
lesson
off.
learned here at Gridiron this morning.
I got to trust that you won't make fun of me when I wear my
No,
glasses.
I was just saying, I noticed the difference. You know, like, it's like when, you know, your lady friend gets her haircut, you better notice that. Otherwise, like, you're getting, like.
My wife?
Yeah, your wife. Like, if she gets her haircut, you don't say something, like, you're going to hear about it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the defensive highlights from Springford Upper Perk. Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with, I think, the head coach, Chad Brubaker. He looks different now here in the second segment, but I think it's still him. So second segment here, we got to talk defense, but we usually do announcements. I saw Springford football had a big tweet announcement yesterday. We're adding to the schedule, it looks like.
Yeah, so we had an open date, and we kind of held off. There were some inquiries from teams that weren't 6A, and we just kind of wanted to, we need to have a 6A opponent. Like the districts right now, how they're set up is basically the top 4 are going to go with the best average.
And it's nothing with leagues. It doesn't, not like one from Pac, one from Suburban.
It doesn't look that way.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So, we had to play a 6A team. Upper Perk obviously is not. That didn't help us in terms of, our rankings. Right now we're 4th, and we want to stay in that top 4 definitely. So, Methacton's 2-1, so that helps us. OJ's 2-1. So those 2 games will help us. We kind of got over. We'll play teams with winning records, and then play Cumberland Valley from District 3. So they're going to come here. That was a game scheduled for non-league earlier in the year. Cumberland Valley, the reason why we can play them is they have Central Dauphin scheduled, but playoffs will happen prior to that, and Central Dauphin will be in the playoffs. So, and Cumberland Valley probably will not, because they're not taking a lot. So that's how we were able to do that.
I'm gonna forecast the future. It looks like obviously win the last 2, and we're gonna win the Pac then too, right?
Well, I don't know how they're going to do that. I would guess probably in terms of past practice, I think there was a softball issue a couple years ago where one team didn't play the other, and then they declared that it couldn't be, there could be no crowned champion.
Okay.
However, we'll probably view it that way internally. I don't know if we'll be official or whatever, but
second question.
If we win our two,
My thing is also now too, we got to win all 3 to make districts. It seems like too. If you're only taking 4, no margin of error. If you want to play postseason.
It'll be close. Now, what I don't know is is there going to be consideration for a team that's 4-1 and has an average of whatever versus a team that's 3-0.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there's an uneven number of games, so I don't know how that's going to work ultimately. Some team like Downingtown West didn't play last week, so
what happens to them?
What happens to them when they only have 3 games? Now, everybody has the option to opt out of playoffs, so that's going to be interesting too. Like, let's say 2 teams from the same league that are rivals didn't play. One could opt out and say, you know what, we're going to play. Like, that happened at Springford in 1995, right?
Yep.
Could have been in district playoffs. Coach Rodenball's still bitter about that. The team felt like they voted to be in the playoffs, but they were told that the vote did not come out the way they thought, and they ended up playing Phoenixville. So that's going to be interesting. This is a year unlike any other. Hopefully we never have another like it, but there's so many different weird scenarios.
All right. Back to you guys here. Spring forward question, defense question. Sometimes when we've gotten leads and we kind of you talked about third quarter last week.
Yeah.
You know, obviously some second string guys, like I'm sure that was a priority you talked about this week so, you know, we know the guys that are part of this defense. We talk about them, but I'm sure the defensive staff had been happy with the effort of the second string guys that
Well, let me
came
just
into the
say
game
this.
too.
Let me just say this. Last week against Boyertown, 2 weeks ago, that was not the second team. That was the first team that allowed 2 touchdowns. But we just had, like I said, the kids were really, we preached that during the week. So I think that helped. The one thing that I saw at halftime was a couple, kids were feeling pretty good about themselves at halftime, and a couple seniors said, hey, knock it off, like chill out.
Yeah.
We need to finish. And so I like that. I think that, our kids that came in, and we came down pretty early because Upper Perk came down, and that's generally how you treat it. I prefer in games like that are a little bit lopsided, like if the other team needs to come down first. We were going to go a full series of offense and a full series of defense with our ones and then come down, but right at the beginning of the second half, they came down. So we immediately put our 2s in and handled that. But, defensively, I think they held them to 26 yards. That's not a record. A couple years back, we held Pottstown to no yards and no first downs in the whole game. The kids just did a great job. And like I said, our secondary is playing extremely, extremely well right now. And we're getting pressure on the quarterback from the front 4. Mason Brill didn't play. He had an ankle injury on Friday night, so Josh Pergine filled in admirably. And there's still some guys that we need to take another step. Mm-hmm. No one's a finished product yet, but we obviously like what we're seeing. I think we're tackling well as well, which is nice to see.
And I'm sure, real quick before highlights, the defensive things they have to like is they can put their 4 secondary guys, safeties over the top, whatever, or let your corners just go guard somebody. And that really kind of frees up your other 7 to go make plays for you too.
Right. We're not afraid to go into man coverage. We're not afraid to go into man coverage with one of our safeties being in coverage or both. That frees up a lot of what we can do.
All right, Coach, good stuff. See, I picked up on that one maybe through the football years. All right, defensive highlights, spring forward, Upper Perk.
Gridiron highlights are sponsored by Heaps Landscaping.
Well, you can see there's probably a blitz coming. Did you pick that up?
Well, you only had 3 guys down, which is a little different for you
so
guys.
we're in nickel. We're in nickel there.
And coming right up the middle.
Watch Ryan Horvath here. Boom.
Oof.
He chased that down from the backside. We got the fumble recovery. You'll see him here. He's right next to the center, still working up the field. Big gap there, chases the quarterback down and gets the ball out. So here's another play. We get it, the quarterback on a roll. This is actually intercepted by Neftali Stein. So he wrestled it away from the kid. You'll see it here a little bit better, I think. So right there, they both kind of grab it, and Neftali rolls over and rips it out of the kid's hands. It's one of the best interceptions you'll see. This was a nice job
from you guys.
Well, we had a pretty good read on that formation. They're going to try to roll out, and our defensive staff called a blitz right into it. This is Zach Marinello coming off the side. You see him right there, and he does a nice job of staying up the field. The quarterback had to pull up there, and he didn't, so we're right in position. And same thing here. Now, Zach did not do a good job there because he got faked out.
But he gets some help here from his teammate.
He gets help from Horvath, who flows there. Oh, it wasn't Horvath. I'm sorry. It was
21.
Nasir. It was Nasir Cook. Who's doing a great job, by the way. Nasir's playing at an all-league level. Look at him chase this play down.
And it looks like he's holding his cue. He's watching the quarterback here too, right?
Right. He checked first,
Yeah.
and then he sprints down the line in a straight line as flat as he can, and gets there and makes that play when the rest of the guys turn it back.
Zamir's it dark, Coach. Like
Yeah, we need to. Yeah,
change. Like it's like a
setting
camera
on
thing,
the
right?
camera. Yeah,
This looks better. I can tell. I like.
We're
this
having
one.
some issues with the camera upstairs.
Okay.
So.
All right. Don't want to be too critical, you know.
Yeah. Be careful. And here is the punt block. Cam Goldsmith gets. It was a bad snap, but Cam Goldsmith gets the punt block and the recovery
No
for a
flip.
touchdown. No flip that time. He landed on it in the end zone.
Oh yeah, not a good.
I think
snap.
Cam learned his lesson. He had to,
Yep.
do some extra at practice, and so
All right, Coach. Good stuff right there. Upper Perk in the books. On to Methacton.
on to Methacton.
All right, we'll take a quick commercial break here, and we will preview the game with Methacton after this. Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, as we move through here in pack play, we got Methacton this week, but once again, you're trying to see teams play, get the other things scheduled. We did see a cancellation first in pack last week. Pottsgrove and PJP were going to play. That game was postponed last Friday night. So that's obviously something those schools got to deal with, trying to reschedule that. And, yeah, it's like you said, those other teams are trying to play and find teams to play. It's a weird situation.
We talked about Downingtown West having an issue, and there were some other ones. At my son's game, Wilson against McCaskey. Now think about this. The McCaskey School Board did not update their protocols, or administration, or whoever you want to say. So Wilson was only allowed to take 35 of their players on the sideline at a time. The rest of the kids stayed out in the parking lot. The game became a mercy rule game. They had a line shift. Like, that's some of the stupid stuff that's going on. Like, there's not, and they wouldn't allow a media rep from the Reading Eagle into the game. Some of this, I think that I don't know if people have lost their minds, but there has to be some level of logic or common sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't protect or cause or do anything. It just causes all kinds of headaches and logistical issues. And believe me, I feel bad for Mr. McDaniel, and I feel bad for administration, and I don't feel bad for myself, but I am at wit's end at times because of some of the things that we have to jump through the hoops on that really aren't necessary, or change anything that we are doing, or cause any other issues. But I saw last night, Phoenixville the school board voted to have every sport except for football. And to me, obviously in football we line up across from each other, pretty close. And then we're up, but you can make a pretty strong argument that in soccer, kids are up against each other. In field hockey, kids are up against each other. Certainly not in golf or tennis. There'd be less of those issues.
Yeah.
But I feel really bad for the Phoenixville football players who, especially the seniors, we've talked about this before. No matter what sport you play, your senior year is always special. And I feel bad for those kids. There's nothing that you can do about it. The adults in charge made a decision. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It'll be interesting getting ahead of us, what happens with winter, you know what I mean? Because they're all, inside. And
there's a contingency of schools who are starting a league in the spring.
I know, but I saw that thing about Norristown playing with the team from the Del Val and stuff like that. I guess I'm more what's going to happen with our winter, not just here winter sports, but because that's all indoors, that's all,
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what you hear comes from the higher levels is all I'm trying to get at there.
Yeah.
No speculation. I just want to.
Right. No, I got you. We live in strange times because I can find as many articles or many suggestions for two entirely opposite views. Like the polarity of it, you know, some doctors are saying, you know, herd immunity. Some doctors are saying, you know, masks help. The WHO came out and said, changed their guidance and said, you know, lockdowns aren't helpful. Obviously, I'm not a scientist, so I just listen to whatever people, you know,
Right.
who know more than me say.
Way
but-
above our pay grade stuff.
Exactly, but it is unfortunate, and a lot of it's unknown, right? So scientists don't know for sure, doctors don't know for sure. So it's unfortunate, and you know, there's fallout for every decision, good or bad. There's fallout. So
All right. There's a little commentary you'd say for the week there. Let's talk Methacton. Let's get back to football a little bit. Methacton won a couple games this year. They like you said, it's an improving program. Talk about Methacton, what we're going to see from them offensively.
So offensively and defensively on both sides of the ball, they're very sound in what they do. You know, I don't know what we're seeing first here, offense.
I think we always see offense
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
We like their quarterback.
It's our first show. You're right. It's confusing. Yeah. Offense. Go ahead.
We like their quarterback. He's very solid. They have a good, tough running back, and they have some big kids. They're much bigger than us on both sides of the ball. Yeah, they do some nice things, and they've had close games. So they've played in 3 close games essentially.
Battle tested. Yeah.
And you know, I'm glad that it's, you know, over here.
Well, they got the lights now. You can play on Friday nights now at Methacton. So.
Yeah, no, I understand, and they have turf, and it's
Yeah.
you know, there was actually a decent crowd last time we went there, but you know, it's good that we're playing at home. I think it's helpful.
All right, let's check out Methacton on offense.
So this is against Boyertown last week. This is defense. Oh no, it's not. My
Big
fault.
M gives it away. It's their home field. Bro.
Yeah, I got you. So that's a nice throw, catch and throw right there.
Nice
you know?
route too. Looks like he's nice and
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so they'll give you, you know, spread formations. They're in gun. Nice
Quarterback
little-
does look big. He looks tall.
Yeah, yep. Nice swing pass here. And
Good blocking downfield by receivers.
Yep. They got one of the linemen out in front. And, you know, all that stuff is good. So they'll do some 2-back stuff. Here you go. And they'll get, you know, they get by the line of scrimmage real quickly. The quarterback will
QB
scramble.
draw.
He will scramble, and he does a nice job there, getting off
Ooh.
the first tackler. So you know they do some nice things, and
Because like Boyertown's bringing the house there, but look, they block it well.
sorry,
It's all right. A lot of talking for you today here.
yeah, little tickle in my throat.
All right, so you
Doing
said
much
earlier
talking.
in the show, I was paying attention, Methacton, multiple fronts, so some even, some odd. You're going to
Yeah,
see.
so mostly even.
Okay.
Now, mostly even. In the past, they've been a 3-4 team. They have shown a little bit of 3-4. They've shown some variations on that. They've shown, but mostly what they played is basically a 4-2-5. You know, they can get into a 3-4 pretty easily. They can get into a 4-2-5 pretty easily from their 3-4 just by bumping guys down. Like I said, they're much bigger than us in a lot of ways. They have a 6'5" walk-up linebacker, defensive end. They have a linebacker that's 215 pounds. And, you know, it's going to be a good test for our line because their philosophy is they're going to play what they play. They're going to play it well. They don't blitz excessively. They just want their kids to be in position to make plays, and they've done a pretty good job of it.
All right, let's take a look at Methacton on defense.
Again, this is maybe not the greatest offense to compare ours to, but you see they got a sack there. Boyertown, that was a messed up play. The running back went the wrong way, or the quarterback went the wrong way. Somebody went the wrong way. But you see there, they get up on the ball real quickly. They have good pursuit. The
Corner comes
does
up
a
and supports.
Decent job. He felt like he got held a little bit there, I think. But, against Boyertown, there's 8 in the box because of
What
what
they do.
Boyertown does. And so ultimately it's slightly different than what we're going to, show them. But, they got a couple turnovers. They got a couple interceptions. So, they it'll be a good test for us. And, I'm sure that, their kids already said in the paper this is a game for first place. So, they're going to be ready to play, and hopefully our kids are up to the task.
All right. Well, hopefully people made it all the way here to the end because you got a little bit of everything on We got some football lesson learning. We got some just the regular stuff. We got some comments. Show gave you a little potpourri of everything here today.
Yeah, I mean, we can even talk about the seating in the stadium, or do you want to get into that? You don't want to get into that?
That's a mystery.
That has nothing to do with football, the football program. That is purely
That's above your pay grade.
Purely
above your pay grade.
administrative, purely school board, not us.
Gotcha. All right, Coach. Well,
I don't want any parts of it.
All right, you got it. Best of luck to you and the crew Friday night.
All right, thank you.
All right, make sure you tune in next week to our recap of the game of Springford versus Methacton. For the head coach, Clark Kent, Chad Brubaker, something like that, I'm John Brennan. See you next time on the Gridiron.